In this video, we're going to be trying to answer the age-old question of can you do cat main bearing bolts without having big old air tools? What we're going to be doing here is using a torque multiplier, which is something I have not used before, but a lot of people have said that is the correct way to do it. Will it work, folks? And what I'm going to say is this video has quite the character arc for this tool. Nope, this thing's a piece of crap. Piece of crap. Hey guys, Josh with the Update channel, and we are back to working on Goldie here. And already cut the counter bores. Previous video, we measured liner protrusion, did a bunch of stuff, got the cylinder liners out. And this video, it's going to be more working, less just cleaning and discussing things. So what are we doing today? Well, we're going to be doing main bearings. Now, I've got a video on how to do them, but what I'm going to be doing is an experiment today. And I'm going to be using a tool that I've never used before called a torque multiplier. I'd be saying, well, why the change? Well, I've had many people say that you shouldn't be using an impact on main bearings, or main bolts, I should say specifically. I've done many that way, a lot, and that's how I was always shown, and that's how everyone I've known has ever torque turned main bolts. But what we're going to be doing is we don't have a big half-inch unlimited airline supply here, so what I'm going to be doing is using this torque multiplier and see if we can turn it.
Abandon reason for madness.
It's basically a 3-to-1 gear reduction ratio gearbox, I guess. It's a half-inch to 3/4 drive. I'll show you more about it, but let's stop talking and get to work. So this is the torque multiplier that I purchased. It's an OTC one, and it looks kind of just like a big ratchet. And it says 1,000 foot-pounds there, but the actual specs actually say 1,100 foot-pounds. And even though it looks like a big ratchet, it is really heavy. I believe there's a planetary drive inside of there. It's a half-inch square drive on this side. And it says right there, max input 365, output 1,100. But it's a 3/4 drive on that side, and it's a 3-to-1 ratio. That's called a reaction arm. There's also this handle. I guess it's also a reaction arm. It'll make more sense as I show you how it's used. That pin, I believe the pin's only for pushing the detent pin in and out. Little retaining bolt, I guess you'd call that there. But, oh boy, whose favorite time is it, folks, when it comes to doing main bearings? Not mine, that's for sure. They're not my favorite thing to do, but it's something you got to do if you're going to be rebuilding engines. You can see I've got the rods taped up here because I was cutting counter bores previous day. You can see the little plugs I've got up there. Those are 6-inch brake chamber plugs. Those actually work really well. That particular brand is not the best, but it holds contaminants from getting on the lower end here. So these are the bolts. They're 1 5/16 headed bolts. I believe they're 1-inch fine thread, and my goodness, if you've done them before, they are torqued a lot. So here's the tools we're going to be using. We've got our Milwaukee half-inch here. I don't think those will be able to torque turn them, but we are going to be using that for seating them, stuff like that. 1 5/16. We've got a 24-inch Matco breaker or ratchet. It's 30-inch snap-on half-inch drive. We've got a 30-inch 3/4 drive ratchet and breaker bar head. Now, just for the laughs, the lulz, I'm going to use the, it's a very long handled, 24-inch handled Matco ratchet here. And basically, I know these are not going to break loose with this guy, so we're going to try it anyway. Yeah, I don't want to break my ratchet. So, next we're going to try the snap-on 30-inch breaker bar. Now, this is a half-inch drive, so even though it's super long, you could still break it, which I don't want to do. Now, these torque to 190 foot-pounds plus 120-degree turn, so quite a bit. No. Okay. So that leaves us with the half-inch impact. Now you might be saying, Josh, you had a 3/4 Milwaukee. Why aren't you using that? The 3/4 Milwaukee is unimpressive, folks. It would not remove or torque turn these bolts very much. So, yeah. Will the half-inch Milwaukee 1 5/16 socket remove one of these bolts? I'm going to say probably not. I don't think I've ever tried though, so let's see what happens. Put the old Sunex socket to the test here. Wow, look at that. It frickin' did. I mean, it rattled the crap out of it, but it did it. Cool. Now this is gonna drip about a gallon of the world's nastiest oil everywhere. Very impressive there, Milwaukee. Okay, so loosen that puppy. Hand tight now. This is number 5. I don't know if you can see that, but so that leaves us with this guy, which I'm not going to use him in Milwaukee for a couple reasons. First, I think this is going to get in the way. Usually I have to bend these a little bit, which I don't like to do, but it's kind of necessary at times. So this is our big 3/4 drive breaker bar. Same length as the snap-on one, but this is obviously a 3/4 drive, so it's more rigid. I don't know if it's gonna, let me see here. There we go. Can I break it loose? Now we gotta torque turn these later too, folks, so not just getting them off's not the easiest thing. I could probably break this loose with this. Oh, I hit my camera. Oh god. Oh. Holy mackerel. No. I mean, gosh, that puppy is frickin' tight. I'm surprised that Milwaukee broke it loose. Okay. Okay. So, Milwaukee actually works, surprisingly. Let's try our torque multiplier here, if we can get it on there. And, yeah. Here's the deal. So this is our crazy contraption here. So it turns at a 3, it says a 3.3 to 1. So as it turns, it's got a wedge against something, right? You have to brace. So what it's gonna hit is this other bolt over here. But it's loose. So let's go ahead and run that bolt up. Not torqued, but just tight. Because if the bolt's not tensioned, it may damage the bolt. So this one here has not been loosened yet. That one's obviously not super duper tight. So let's see what happens here. So it should apply over 3 times the torque. Should being the opportune word. So neat, super freaking neat. This is really awesome. Okay, it's not really not doing anything. Wow, I was thinking 3 times the torque would loosen that right up, but apparently no, it doesn't. Okay, let's switch from that to our long-handled breaker bar here. Well, that's super frustrating. So we're going to speed things up here, folks. This is getting pretty frustrating, as you can see. And you might be saying, well, could you potentially be damaging the other bolt? Not really. When these bolts are under tension, they're quite strong. I wouldn't want to leverage it against a loosened bolt, but I'm using them tightened here. Not only that, the reaction arm is actually like a ratchet end, so it's not putting as much force on the bolt head that it's reactioning against as it is on the bolt head that it is trying to loosen here. And as you can see, first time I haven't used this tool, folks, was a little frustrating, I would say. This thing. Okay. Let's give this a try here. Even with that, it won't frickin' break it loose, man. Nope. This thing's a piece of crap. Piece of crap. Not. This thing's getting returned. This week's Destruction of the Week comes from Charles, and Charles sent these pictures from Afghanistan and Iraq when he was stationed there and said, very interesting. And these are some of the units they had over there. This D7 had apparently rolled off this hill here. Your tax dollars at work, folks. And yeah, they said they rolled it back over, and it ran fine other than it smoked for a while. This is in Afghanistan, apparently. There's some belly scrapers that were kind of disassembled or falling apart. You can see the mountains there in the background. Pretty cool pictures, a little bit different. Let's get back to work. Oh boy. Maybe there's something wrong with that bolt. Interesting. This puppy is not. It took that one out. Wonder if this one's just super seized. Let's try a different one. Let's try 4, which has the thrust washers on it. Let's try it with the torque multiplier though. So I actually have a return on this multiplier already because I'm so irritated with it, but you know what, maybe it's that bolt. Maybe it's not the multiplier's fault. Maybe that bolt is seized and I just got really unlucky on picking which bolt first. Come on. It's not the most convenient thing to use, that's for sure. Up. Oh, it's going to try and go that way. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so it's trying to move opposite of whatever rotation you're doing. Okay. Take 2.
We'll do it live!
It cracked. That's a good sound. Oh, yeah. It's, just be my ratchet snapping in half also. Let's see here. It's moving. By gosh, by golly. I mean, it's not easy. What's the Kermit? Not easy being green. Yeah, look at that. Pop that puppy off of there. Yeah, it's loosened her right up there. So yeah, we did have success there. Now it seems like those two on the right side of the engine were coming loose there, but as you'll see here, same problem we run into. So the same side, I mean, they're all the same size. Same side bolt was giving us problems here. I don't know why. This had been in frame before was the information I had. So I'm wondering if someone just torque turned these more than the other side or what the heck the deal is. Not sure why they're inconsistently torqued. They should be relatively about the same amount of tightness on both sides here. weird it's the same side. It's super tight. This one and this one. I don't know who put this together. Let's try this guy. All right, we know this one's loose. All right. What about this guy? He cracked a little bit. Man, super tight. Super crazy tight, actually. How tight those are. I don't know what to say. Not blaming the torque multiplier yet, because these seem like they're insanely tight. I might need like a 1-inch gun to get these off. That's not gonna be fun. Let's try putting them on with the torque multiplier. I gotta get some of these off though first. Okay, so success, kind of. So number 5, this bolt is insanely tight. Number 4, got that initial pop and then nothing. I can't turn this one. This one turned easily. Same with this one. We got this one. This one is turning. So that's a good sign. So here's what concerns me. This apparently has been in frame before, supposedly. There are no torque markings on any of these bolts. So I don't know who put them on. They could have had a frickin' snap-on 3/4 air at 200 psi and just gone till it stopped. I have no idea. The bolts might have been put on dry. I don't know. So we are going to finish taking this one out. This is number 6. So you can see there's 7 main caps. So see, number 7. Number 6, unless you know, you live in Florida, then you just do like, you know, 1, 6, 4, 17, 208, whatever. So yeah, so we got one off. Hallelujah. So I think what we're going to do is actually keep this torque multiplier. I don't think it's something with the tool. I think it's something with those 2 bolts, which kind of still leaves us up Poopy Creek because I can't get either of those off. I don't know what I'm going to have to do here. Might have to get like a tire gun or something. Yeah, but let's get this puppy off. Vidya. So you might be saying, well, Josh, what the heck, you know? Are you going to keep this torque multiplier? I think I am, actually. Well, first off, I hate returning stuff. It is working. It's not quite as easy as I thought, but like I said, I don't know what these got torqued to. I am interested to see if it will torque turn when we go to torque these. I'm going to get this one off. We'll clean up, put new bearing in, and see. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go till this puppy is fairly loose. Loose enough, as they say. Woo! I'm going to have to take my jacket off. I don't know how cold it was in the shop this morning. You can see your breath. Oh yeah, see. I mean, this is not the easiest thing, but mains never are. And if it's something that you have in your toolbox that allows you to get really over tightened bolts off in fairly low access places, like thinking of a motor mount bolt or something, if this will fit in place, put a lot more torque than you could with anything else. Pretty cool. Yeah, I'm going to keep this puppy, I think. Okay. Oh, God. Okay, let's get these bolts out. Should have just used the Milwaukee. Look how easy it came off of there. Yeah, well, that's because I already loosened it with our friend, the OTC torque multiplier. Now, there is a... Look at the threads. Pretty dry. Interesting. So there is a 58-to-1 ratio torque multiplier, like the cheater bar or something like that. And yeah, I don't know about that guy. I might have to do some research. Ooh, that was like a full turn already. Still pretty like that. Bolt is dry. Look at the threads. They're just dry. fricker. How's our main bearing look? How are we looking there? Might be hard to see. Forward wear. There. I'll pull it out. We'll see. And I didn't get a lot of oil out. Interesting. All right, let's get the upper out. I got a new trick for that too, folks. So stay tuned. Okay, so we are got to get this puppy out of there. Weird oil situation going on here. And so what did I purchase? You may be saying. Well, the main bearing video, everyone kept saying, "Hey, Josh." Let me get some more light. Is that better or worse? I think it's better without extra. Anyway, don't use a screwdriver. So they're like, get a copper pipe. It's softer. I mean, you're not wrong. So I've always used a screwdriver to punch these out. Never had a problem, but you know, you guys do make points sometimes. So what I did is I got copper pipe, water pipe. Flatten it. Copper is obviously softer than steel. So theoretically, this should work better. So what I'm going to do is hit this puppy with this little mallet and drive this right out, hopefully. Hey, look at that. I mean, one thing that is nice is you can kind of get this, I could squish more of it and get it pretty thin and drive it up quite a bit more. But that worked pretty good. You know, people watch my videos to learn stuff, but I actually learn stuff from you guys in the comment sections. Not all the time. Sometimes you people need band, but, you know, sometimes. There's definitely a lot more knowledge in the comment section accumulated than there is just me. I bet even John Goldsmith could learn a thing or two. Even after he's been doing this for 87 years now. Right, John? Probably just feels like that. Sometimes you gotta roll them out with the bolt. I don't want to do that if I don't need to. Let's see here. There we go. That's a trick. So it's the crank's rolling it out for me. Sometimes you can get it to do that. Usually it'll get to here and it'll fall off. Whoop. There we go. Gotta help it a little bit. Oh God. Drippings. Not the Thanksgiving kind. There we go. Cool. Upper looks pretty good. Of course, main uppers rarely wear. It's usually the lowers that get the brunt. So let's see here. Okay, so the bearing didn't look horrible. I mean, it doesn't look good, but weird wear, forward wear there, which would mean the crank was being pushed down more forward because that's forward. This is weird. This little line, it's like it had a hair or something on it when it was installed, or look at that. It's like a half moon. Interesting. Now, one thing to check when doing bearings is if they're standard or not. So the big S, it's a cat bearing. Standard, S, lower. The upper should match. S as well, upper. Now you need to check that on your rod bearings also. If it can focus. Yeah, S standard. Right there. These are cat. Rod bearings. Okay, so PIA kit's over here. And it's a much smaller kit than, let's say, a cat gold kit would be. Two guys carried it in. So these are our rod bearings. Yeah. Cross bearings, drawing number 4. And they're well packaged. Gotta give them that. What I don't see though Maybe I'm just not familiar with these, but I do not see a standard or oversize indication, which is kind of important. Now, I'm sure PAI is cheaper than CAT. One thing that already irritates me, though, this rebuild kit, this is the liner kit. Piston rings, not installed. Thank you. Extra labor. It does come with the seals. Very weird here. So normally CAT uses 3 O-rings and a filler band. This has 2 O-rings and this big square cut thing and the filler band. No connecting rod. Convenient. So yeah, so you're going to spend time assembling all the old rods, I guess. That's super convenient. No indication on which direction to go. Probably doesn't matter, and CAT's doesn't really. This liner's weird looking too. Let's pull it out. Look at all the extra lines here. So yeah, remember what I said? It's supposed to be 3 O-rings. They've got 2 O-rings and a big square cut deal there. Filler band's still top. What are all these ridges for? Is that like a ruffles thing or something? I don't know. But yeah, it's going to take a lot more work because I got to take the old connecting rods off the old ones, put them on this one, put the piston rings on. Just extra labor, folks. Yeah. Okay, so we've got number 6 installed here. Let's see some drippage going on. PAI bearings. They went in okay. Quite a bit of material scraped off the back on those bearings, at least the upper, obviously. The lower, you don't roll it in. I've got them torqued already to 190. So you go 190, 190. Now's the hard part. Here's where our torque adapter is going to come in. So we have to torque turn it 120 degrees, 120 degrees. So if you notice, I've got marks already. And the angle the camera's at, it's not going to be direct. But basically, we got to get this flat over to here. And we have to get this flat over to here. So let's give it a try. So let's see here. So we're going to tighten this way. And it's going to want to go that way, right? Oh, we need to make sure we're on the right deal. So you see I've got little marks on our bolt already. Okay. Let's see. I think it'll initially turn easy and then it'll probably get super hard is my guess. Let's see what happens. Okay, we're turning. We're not halfway there, but we're there. Ooh, it's getting harder now. Still turning. Almost there. We did it. Yeah, look at that. That guy's lined up. I think actually, let's go just a hair more. That wasn't horrible, actually. There we go. Okay. Usually use an impact, but look at that. It lined it up, so this will torque turn it with a 1/2-inch ratchet. Not easily, but even a 3/4 gun, they don't do it all the time, so it's not the worst. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. We're turning. We're twerking. We're twerking. Almost there. More. Do it. Got it. I'm happy with that. What do you think? Was it easier? No. It was definitely not, but we got them. So we did a main. We're going to do the mains basically without power tools. Would a 1-inch gun be easier? Yes. Definitely. We still got to worry about these two, but I'm going to mess with these, see if we can get them off. And then, yeah, it's always good to rotate the engine after doing a main, make sure it spins freely, which I don't does. So we're 1/7 done. Okay, so after our main bearing experiment there, which I did work, you can definitely torque turn them with the torque adapter. You can loosen with the torque adapter. It is smoother, definitely torque turn them with the torque adapter than the impact, and maybe that is the better way to do it. I was going to put the liners in, but oh boy, I got some sharp cavitation cuts there, and that's going to have to be fixed. I do not want to put in the liners with the cavitation like that. They could definitely cut them like that, so we're going to have to do some repair there before putting the liners in. I was going to record that, but we're going to have to wait because I do not have the repair compound with me. So you can see I have cut the counterbores already, so what I'm going to have to do now is put our piston assemblies together. So I did a pretty sweet time lapse here. And remember, these are not fully assembled, unlike the Cat ones. And these look way different than the Cat pistons, by the way, but got our piston rings here. Not something I actually have to do is building as many engines as I have, because the Cat ones always come assembled. Gonna do the oil control ring. I always take the little spring deal out, and then I slide the outer oil control ring over that. That always seems easier. Then you're gonna, once that's set, you're gonna do your middle ring, and you're gonna use a piston ring expander there. Then you do the upper ring. They are directional as far as top and bottom. Gonna make sure the gaps are not aligned. Not that it matters a ton because they always move, but shouldn't align them on purpose. So I always put them at 120 degrees apart, which is what Cat tells you to do. Gonna lubricate the wrist pin here, get the snap ring back in, and that is one of our 6 pistons assembled. So pretty interesting. So you can see we've done all the mains here. You might be saying, well, how did you get those couple that were super tight off? Well, just wait about a minute and a half, and you'll find out. But one thing I always do after doing main bearings is check for crankshaft end play. And this one has end play, which is good. However, the crankshaft is not staying where I'm pushing it. So if I push it forward, which it has end play, it's pulling back. Something's pulling the crankshaft towards it, and towards it is to the rear. And that probably also explains the weird wear on the bottoms of the lower bearings. The fillet area there of the journals probably was wearing into the forward part of the bearing due to this. And what would pull the crankshaft back? Well, the clutch could. In fact, I've seen a lot of bearing damage caused by transmissions or clutches. Now, so what you're going to do is let's look at the clutch and see what's going on. Look at that. That is a lot more than half an inch of gap there, folks. That's probably like 6 inches or something like that. But what we got here is no pedal free play. Nothing. No pedal free play. So I told the customer, he said, you know, you're already there. Just go ahead, adjust the clutch. It adjusted up fine, had pedal free play, and it took care of that problem. So how did we loosen those super tight ones, by the way? Well, let's just say we were underestimating our friend, the torque adapter. He freaking works. You just gotta be. Well, I ate your Wheaties this morning. These ones are so over-tightened. It's crazy, but I'll take it off. Look at that. I'd like to say thank you to Ludwig von Beethoven for writing that little piece just for this particular instance. Couldn't think of a different piece of music that would have fit better in that instance, but we were able to get them loose, folks, after all this time. What do you guys think of using a torque multiplier in this instance? I think for installing them makes a lot more sense. Maybe for removing them, 1-inch impact might be the way to go. Maybe I already ordered one, but don't know. Thanks for watching, guys.